Now, the finance officials from the group of 20 major economies pledged to address global food insecurity and rising debt in a two-day meeting in Indonesia. However, few policy breakthroughs were reached amid the divisions over Russia's war in Ukraine. Indonesian Finance Minister Sri Mulyani, who chaired the meeting, said that most topics were agreed by all members, except for the particular statements about the war in Ukraine. She described it as the best result the group could have achieved at this meeting. The Indonesian Finance Minister added that while chairing a fractured G20 has been quite overwhelming due to the war in Ukraine, all members agreed that food insecurity requires special attention. Western countries have enforced strict sanctions against Russia for its war in Ukraine. Other G20 nations, including China, India, and South Africa, have been more muted in their response. Russia's finance minister attended the meeting virtually while his deputy attended in person. Ukraine's finance minister addressed the session virtually, where he called for more severe, targeted sanctions.
We know that each country have an issue that they are also have the stand which cannot yet be reconciled. Of course, there are other forums, for example, like UN and others in this case. But because they want to express their view regarding a certain issue, this is in particular related to the war, then that particular statement related to the war, reflecting there is still views which is different within the G20. So we just put it there as a expression of position from each country or group of country.
Indonesian Finance Minister called for the removal of trade protections that prevented the flow of food supplies. Further, the G20 will set up a joint forum between finance and agriculture ministers to address food and fertilizer supply issues. A similar forum has been set up for finance and health ministers for pandemic preparedness. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that the differences had prevented the members from issuing a formal communique. Analysts said that the failure to agree on a communique reflected the weakness of the once mighty economic grouping. G20 members pulled together at the start of the pandemic, but initiatives to cushion the shock for the heavily indebted poor countries failed to produce significant results. Western countries concerned about the lack of transparency in China's lending also pressured Beijing to restructure debt contracts and transform its approach to one that actually helps the developing countries. The International Monetary Fund recently warned that more than 30% of emerging and developing countries and a staggering 60% of low-income countries were in or near a debt distress situation. Chinese officials, however, did not attend the meetings in person, making sideline discussions impossible. Now, Sri Mulyani said G20 encouraged further progress on the implementation of the common framework for debt treatment beyond the debt service suspension initiative in a timely, orderly, and coordinated manner.
For our hospitality as well.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.